So welcome everyone. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do these mastermind principles. I will put the order here in the chat. So we got Vicky up first. Then we got Matthew. Then Richard. And if everyone who is not speaking can please mute themselves, that'd be awesome. I got Sinead. And we've got Naomi. And then we got Lloyd. Okay, so if you just want to check the chat, you'll see who's speaking next. And we get started. Okay, so can everybody see this? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you want to go first, Vicky?
Sure. So the purpose of the mastermind is to learn leadership, build teams, and create multiple sources of income together.
We are here to inspire and challenge each other to reach and exceed goals.
Each member of the mastermind, each member is committed to their own success as well as the success of every member of the group.
You're muted, Sinead.
The headset. The purpose of the mastermind is to learn leadership.
No, the fourth one.
Fourth one. We are committed to meeting in person or virtually for 1 hour every week.
We are present. There is no multitasking or distractions during meetings.
We are collaborative. We listen without interrupting, lecturing, or judging.
We celebrate each other's successes without jealousy.
We are honest and participate by giving thoughtful feedback.
We are open and listen to different perspectives without being defensive or offering excuses.
We trust fellow members enough to share fully.
We are focused, but we also think it's important to have fun during meetings.
We are real and authentic. This is a no BS zone. We allow ourselves to become completely aligned with each other and the high forces, one mind, one soul, one love.
Oh, sorry, hold on. Noble Goldman International is a conscious, aware, and engaged global community of abundance and freedom creators.
Our mission is to create 1 million millionaires who are free from the time for money paradigm. We focus on creating multiple streams of income through masterminding, team building, and the effective utilization of the internet-based platforms.
The mastermind becomes an opportunity for self-mastery, where self-transcendent shift from the me to the we to the us occurs. As congruence and engagement increases, the world's consciousness is then raised one meaningful and inspired relationship at a time.
Happy days. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to do a quick whip around. We need a timekeeper, please. Anyone with a phone, in other words. Just guessing is all of you. Okay, so preferably not. Yeah, ideally not someone who's on the phone, though.
Oh no, I have my laptop in front of me as well.
Okay. So we're going to give 90 seconds each. Just very quickly share what's been going well with you for the last week. Doesn't matter how many they are. Keep them as much as possible related to Noble Goldman if you can. And as we go through this, we're going to increasingly talk a little bit more about what we're doing in relation to collaboration, as well as maybe mentioning one thing that you're doing outside of that. And the reason why I'm saying this is, obviously, we all have our own stuff going on, which is wonderful, and I encourage it. However, the reason why we're all here together is because we're looking at where the touch points are. And our goal is to create as many wins as possible at those touch points. Right? So we're all individuals, obviously, and we have our own story. The purpose of us being here more specifically on this call is to find out where those touch points are and then build wins in wherever we can. Okay. So Vicky, you want to go first?
Sure. So today is 65 days of my 90-day challenge. So I'm excited about that. I'm planning to start the 30-day one on December 1st. Also on December 1st, I'm starting my loss and grief mastermind for the NG community. So I will advertise that later today.
Awesome.
And I'm working on some possible potential MSI kind of things for NG for the future.
Cool. And what's been challenging for you in the last week?
So for me, I hate to keep coming back to it, but honestly, it's the migraines and headaches. So that kind of interferes with the blue light. So these are special glasses. So for me, it depends on the day. Weather is a trigger, and I can't control that. The other part I think is connecting and trying to get other people interested in NG. Like I bring it up a lot in conversation. I keep it pretty organic because I don't want to be salesy.
Mhm.
And either people are like, oh, I'm already in a mastermind, or they don't quite get it. And if they don't get it, then there's no sense pursuing it.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll come back later. So I think that's kind of a challenge for me.
Sure. Well, actually, we addressed that yesterday, so I've got something to share on that in a minute.
Okay.
So, Matthew.
For me, wins, so many, I feel. My social media is picking up, which I love. It's just having fun, and I've learned to really kind of become my authentic self, which is awesome. I love just being myself and just growing and having fun with people. It's just it's like a blast for me. I got my OG starter kit for my next MSI that I'm starting in here, and I had one of my mastermind follow me up into it, so that was cool. So I already got one person following right behind me, which is the whole point of NG. I love that. And I'm just really looking forward to, I just got another free member as well through NG. So that's another plus. And I just keep working at it. So I'm happy. Like, I'm having a lot of fun.
Awesome. You had anything that's been challenging this week?
Yeah, just whether I wasn't getting outside enough. I like to get outside a lot. So when I don't get outside enough, it brings me down a little, but I've been trying to keep the energy level going. So it's working.
Happy days. Richard's the only one who's not in winter right now, which is so I'm guessing it's slightly different experience, but obviously has its highs and lows obviously as well. So
Well, my winter is rain, so lots of rain. That's winter. All right, guys. I've been out, as I wasn't on the call last week. I was actually in the interior. But even in my absence, I had one new free member for NG, and I should be having another one within the next coming days. So I'm just waiting on that person to get ready to sign on, because I'm going to be out again for another few days. Apart from that, no challenges. So it's nice to know that you just plant the seed and you leave it there, and over time it works in your absence.
awesome. Sinead, you're up next and you're muted at the moment. There you go.
That's fine. I'll just reset the timer. Sorry. So yeah, I've been, as I say, touch points. I've been helping another member needed help with her accounts. I've been doing that. So trying to reach out. I've been getting to grips with technology and, kind of realizing that I'm doing quite a lot with technology, with the summit, with the fact that the website wasn't working, and was able to fix that. Did a lot of work on my goals as well too. Did work on a program, different kind of program I used to work with before. It's under earners. And when I went with that, I kind of realized that they didn't respect time. And this was a huge, big part of trying to get anywhere, was actually having respect to the gift of time. And I suppose I've looked at the fact that I'm going to step up and do a host the event next Wednesday evening. And I suppose that's a good experience to kind of get organized and, get out of that, fear of trying to manage these things in these groups, and watching out for sabotage as well too. So I suppose challenges would be, I find that my website wasn't getting people onto it, and realized it was pointing to the event was closed, so wasn't getting anywhere. But I delegated that to another person and expected them to do it, and it's just harder to kind of give out jobs and then they're not done. So it's kind of I need to delegate, do it, and nothing happens. So you're going, okay, that's a bit hard. So I think that's me. That's a minute and a half.
That's you, Naomi.
Hi, everybody. So my win this week, well, it was really last week, is joining NG Going Gold Star, finally, and going to see what it's all about. So just decided to go for things and sort my shit out, basically. Excuse the French. And my challenges the last month or so have been like dealing with kids while dealing with a nerve injury in my arm and my neck, which I'm finally getting treatment for. So thanks to Lloyd for that. And yeah, learning to manage my time so I'm more effective, prioritizing my mental work and time for my business instead of housework, and sorting out my house, which I need to do as well. So yeah, that's it. Getting things done, progressing, feeling good. So,
I love it. And just to be clear, I don't know anything about fascia or anything. I refer to someone who actually knows what they're doing.
yes,
Okay, said it was
that's it. I'm seeing an expert. Nothing to do. You referred him, yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
If that wasn't
And,
clear.
hey,
to everybody.
you're looking really vibrant,
Oh, thanks.
which is
Thank
good.
you.
See, the last time I saw you weren't looking as
Feeling better.
you're feeling. You can tell that you're
Fresh.
in a good place, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I was dealing with a lot of pain and anxiety. So but
Okay.
yeah, feeling better.
So, thank you so much. So for me, it's been an interesting week. 4 new members on the team, 2 new gold stars. There's one of their happy faces over there. And then also, we just completed the 30-day program this last week, and it's good to go. So you can all register for it already and purchase it, and we're going to start together on the 1st of December. Now, the good news is, okay, for those of you who the thought of building a team is terrifying for some reason, which is okay, it's not about team building. It's all about personal development. It's all about laying the foundations for understanding and clarity. And also, I'm going to show you it in a minute as well. And then also laying the foundation for those success habits, many of which you're likely already doing, or at least you're doing some of them for sure. Anyone doing personal development, at least within a course, is already doing a lot of these things. So you won't have to add in anything extra because you're already doing it. But it will give you a chance to tick them off each day, which is useful for the mind. And then write your win and your lesson every day, and then what you're grateful for. You can, if you like, share it on social media, or you can not if you don't like. Okay, so it's open if you want to do that or not. And then there's a few other aspects that you may not be covering off. And to be honest, if we were all already doing all of these things, we wouldn't need a 30-day program, but we're not. Okay. And also, it'll allow you guys, as you're building a team, particularly with free members, it's also open to the free members to participate in. And it's only $30, so it's a bit of a no-brainer, really. And it'll, help them. It's got around a $600 or $700 value, I would say. And it's $30. So I mean, but it's also potentially 50% commission for you guys. So it's not much, but it'll make a difference. Okay. Oh, sorry, Sinead, I realized I didn't even talk about me. All right. So my challenge this week, just to very quickly stick it in there, has been being overwhelmed because I didn't get outside enough. I notice every time I go outside and just breathe, because it's cold here, Richard, so the cool air is one of the nice things about being in this part of the world, is that it's so fresh that it almost goes right into your soul, which is awesome. So I've been using a breathing technique this last week or so, and I did it outside this morning, and I was like totally in zen. And I was doing Olympic rings in the park off a tree and everything. I was very happy chappy. So yeah, no, I'm glad I got into some rhythm there because it was missing. Okay. So what I want to talk about today, okay, and I would like everyone to have a think about this. And you can take a couple of minutes here and I'll put on some music. but what does your timeline look like? I'll give you a bit of an idea what I mean by this. Okay, so I'm reading this book called How to Be a Key Person of Influence by a guy called Daniel Priestley. So the idea is how to go from, now you can't go into a new industry that you're not already in and think you're going to be there at the top in 12 months, because that'd be ridiculous. But if you're in an industry and you want to go from wherever you are to the very top of it, and what does that mean? It means when people think of that niche, they think of you. Okay, that's what the book is about. And it's called How to Become a Key Person of Influence. So what it says here is map out the timeline of your life with high points and low points. Start as early as you can remember and try to remember some of the details of each memory. Okay? Once you have your life's timeline, then you look for the themes that are in the timeline. Make a list of your skill and talents and see if you can join them up to see the themes. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this here just as a learning exercise. I'll put that in the chat, okay? And I'm going to read something here, okay? And we'll record it so you can watch the recording again if you like, okay? We all have a unique set of skills. Some of us are more confident in our skills than others. Some of us recognize there are areas where we have no skills, and some of us think we have skills everywhere, and maybe we don't. Okay, so and that's okay. But what I want to just share with you is what's written here. Okay, you have a unique set of skills and talents. The very good news is that in this newfound land, almost anything can be turned into a fun, profitable business with a little bit of thought. Your greatest asset is your existing passion, the skills you already have, and most of all, your own personal story. You may think that the key to your wealth lies in some mystical wealth creation vehicle that you don't yet know about. Maybe you think it's the stock market or property development or a franchise or a multi-level marketing company. The truth is that your real wealth is in your story. Your journey thus far has not been a waste of time. It's been perfect. Your hobbies and interests are not meaningless. They're a gold mine. Your passion isn't hollow. It's the best fuel you will ever have. You've already been a leader within certain circles. You already have examples of people you've helped, teams you've built, and value you've added. You need to harness what you have and refine it. There are already people taking home six-figure incomes from their passion from the strangest things. I've seen people making great incomes from training senior executives how to communicate with angels. Okay? A powerful metaphor for their intuition. Providing nightclubs with packaged marketing and promotions. Giving strategies for couples to pregnant faster. Managing people's Facebook profile for them. Helping professional speakers fine-tune the last 10 minutes of their talk. Sourcing investment properties for young professionals who work for major banks or consulting firms. Giving financial advice to celebrities. Selling special bags of organic mixed fruit and nuts that replace all meals for a week. Helping art collectors to buy rare sculptures. Selling multi-million-dollar yachts around the world on behalf of their owners. Sounds like a pretty cool job. I got me thinking. Helping people to adopt the same diet as their ancestors. All right. But here's the problem. Every day you'll open the paper and read about some individual who's made big money doing some new thing. You hear a story about a newly made millionaire who's achieving success in any industry you know little about. The assumption you may wrongly make is that it was the thing that made the money. You might think it was the product or the industry that was responsible for their success and miss the fact, or miss that it was in fact the marriage of that thing with the person's story. You may curse yourself for missing out on the latest trends. Oh, what if I was in the commercial property game? Many times I've said that. It's Forex trading that I should be doing. I should have been designing an iPhone app. I hear that one quite a lot. Why didn't I think of being a life coach sooner? What was I thinking by not being part of that franchise? Silly me. I knew I should have joined that MLM from the start. All right. Their thing might not be your thing. What you may miss altogether is the story behind the story. The person who just made a fortune from real estate loved looking at real estate deals long before they got rich doing it. The person who successfully trades financial markets was happy riding ups and downs for years before they had their payoff. The life coach did 3 years of virtually unpaid work before she got her first big client and another 4 years before she became a highly paid speaker that you saw on the stage. The guy with the lucrative organic fruit and nuts business has been writing about health and wellness issues since he was 16 years old. It's their story that people buy into. You like them. You like their take on things. You like their ideas. You see how connected and admired they are in their industry. You want to spend time and money with them because they are a key person of influence and that's attractive to you. The person in the story hasn't found the thing. They have found their thing. However, I could almost guarantee that it's not your thing. Unless you've been keenly interested in something for several years, forget trying to be a success story in that field anytime soon. You simply can't beat the people who genuinely love an industry and not because they think it's a quick formula for cashing in. Well, wait a minute. Aren't I contradicting myself? Didn't I say earlier in this book that it takes just 12 months to become a key person of influence? Now I'm saying it takes many years. No, I said how to become one of the most highly valued and highly paid people in your industry. The most important words in that sentence are in your industry. Not just any place, your place. You already have a story. You already have a set of skills, talents, and experiences that are valuable. It's time to see your story for what it's really worth. There's already a theme to your life that's been unfolding. It may seem to you you've done many things or that you've some strange and unrelated talents, but it hasn't been random at all. Everything you've done up until this point has been for a specific reason. It's been building you up to this moment. It's brought you right here to this chapter in the book and to this mastermind. Am I done? All right, where you can get the message. You are already standing on a mountain of value. Your story is valuable. Your experience is unique, and you're highly valuable just as you are. You don't need to learn new skills. You are ready to create value now. You are no longer on this planet to be a consumer. You are here to produce. You're ready to establish yourself as a key person of influence through creative output, not through further consumption. All of your future learnings will come from the process of producing value, not pursuing other people's stories or chasing distant trends. This may rattle you a little. Surely, if you were valuable already, you would be earning the serious money. No, the reason you don't have the money yet is you've not established yourself as a key person of influence and you haven't crystallized your value. In the next few chapters, we're not going to cover right now, I might add. You'll see exactly how to do this in 5 clear steps. When you're ready, let's take a look at the key person of influence method, which is on the next chapter. Right, so I'd love to hear what you got from that. I can see everyone writing notes and everything going, okay. And it blew me away when I read it. So Vicky, you want to share first?
Sure. What I got from what you read, or you want me to do like what I wrote down?
Well, yeah, if you've already done that, then yeah. Well, like the principle why I asked the question first was the question was to frame what is the mindset behind what I then shared, right? So clearly each of us will have done something different. So some people were taking notes based on the other bit, and other people were actually drawing out the thing they were meant to do. So I'm guessing you did the second.
Yeah. I mean, I did listen, don't worry, I was multitasking.
Okay, because I can't do that, so maybe that's why I wasn't doing that. But and also I was reading, so we made it kind of different. But the point here, I suppose, is whichever one you want to share is fine. Because I want everyone to go and actually do this between now and next week, and actually come back and show and say, hey, you don't need to show it if you don't want, but it's advisable to do it. Okay. So go ahead.
Okay, so if I do the timeline of my life, I've had a lot happen to me since I was a very young kid. And I think all those incidents, accidents, things I've been through brought me to what I know is my area, which is loss and grief. And I know it's not an area for everybody, but I think because of everything that happened to me, I've just naturally kind of gone into this area. It's a passion of mine. I enjoy it. Some people find that strange. Some people don't want to touch the subject. I have a lot of experience. I mean, I've been a social worker for 23 years. I have a master's degree. I have an end of life certificate. I wrote a book with a colleague. We have 2 books coming out next year on this subject. Being part of NG has been awesome because it's allowing me to do the mastermind and focus on different things, which I really benefited from. And the 90-day challenge for certain has helped me. I so highly recommend it. And I'm looking forward to the 30-day one. I mean, there's just a lot that's happened, so I don't know how much you want me to go into, but also just to let you know, for 20 years as a social worker, I work with seniors, but I work with Holocaust survivors. And if you think of what they've been through, and I had Holocaust survivors that were in Auschwitz for 2 years, and I have others that were on the death march, and I worked with others that escaped to Russia and were sent as kids down to, I didn't even know that they were sent down to South America somewhere. And to me, they were my mentors. And they were some of the nicest, most grateful people I've ever met, considering what they've been through. That, again, I don't know. That's hard for me to talk about. It's taught me a lot.
Yeah, that's interesting. I remember I didn't finish it actually, but I picked up the book. I have it downstairs, Man's Quest for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Oh yeah, it's an interesting topic. Yeah, well, that's unique, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Okay. And actually, it looks like it was a surprise to everyone here, including me. So that's
oh, yeah, I don't. So there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff I do volunteer. I don't talk about all my stuff, but I'm on sick leave from work. So, which has been good. It's allowing me to focus on me and heal. And it allows me to participate as much as I do in NG, which I really, really am super grateful for. So,
yeah. And just before, and thank you so much, first of all, for sharing. Matthew, I'm going to let you in there in 1 sec. I just want to share with everybody, right? When we were on the call yesterday, we have what's called a round table call. So it's everyone in Noble Goldman who's built a team of 12 gold stars or more. We sort of kind of steer the ship to a certain extent, discuss what the challenges are and how we might improve things for everybody, and we get feedback from our teams and stuff and that type of thing. Because it really is a collective effort. This is not Mark's business. This is all of our businesses, or like whatever movement more specifically. And it's important to understand that initially when you look at this, it's like, what's in it for me? So you're in that me space. And the temptation is to create a clique, which is the we. Oh, this is us. We're Noble Goldman, right? That's not the plan. The plan is Noble Goldman's great and everything because it provides us a space and a way where we can have these authentic conversations and find the touch points and look for wins that are automated through a catalog that just makes sense. But the bigger picture is about how we can contribute to society off the back of that, which is about the us, which is not about, oh, our platform is better than some other platform. There's nothing to do with any other platform. The purpose of it is to see that we're all part of the same thing, part of one family, right? we're part of, one desire to evolve and awaken and to help and support people who want to grow and all that. And we're choosing to participate with people who want to create win-wins with us for life. It's not to say that other people aren't wonderful people outside of what we're doing, but it's about the ethos, not about Noble Goldman itself. And there's a big difference. And it's important to understand that. So sometimes when people join Noble Goldman, they don't really know why they're here. They're like, okay, I'm here now, but I don't know what the hell this is supposed to look like. I don't want to build teams, or I don't want to do this, I don't do that. It's not really about that. It's about what way can we pay forward what we are getting in value. And if that means paying forward to somebody who likes what we like, we end up with a group of people that are around us that happen to be, connected to us in some way. But that's okay. That doesn't mean you need to be some supersonic team leader person, okay? Because it's all automated. That's the whole point. We're attempting to automate me and other people that are those types of people that actually love leading, so that you can be you, but we all win. That's the bigger point. So sometimes when you look at other people and you think, well, I don't really want to do what they're doing, or I don't have that skill set, I don't really desire that skill set, or I don't really want to deal with people all that much. I kind of want to just develop clients, but I also like to get some form of passive income. I don't even know what that looks like. Well, then this is a place for anyone who has that desire, but it is about involvement as much as it's not just about attending a mastermind, because that's kind of slightly missing the point. It's about the fact of where are the touch points? Okay, well, if we know where they are now, how do we develop wins at those touch points? What do those wins look like? And so the first thing is the decision to find them over time, whatever period of time, and then look to develop wins when they're identified what those wins could be, rather than looking at touch points going, oh, that's great, I feel good now, and I'm going to go off and continue doing my own thing. Because it's about strengthening those relationships through win-wins, if that makes sense, right? And that's not immediately obvious when you go on the website, by the way. So we've discovered that, if you remember, Simon Sinek has a wonderful, 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 wonderful video called Starting with the Why. If you haven't watched it, I recommend you do. And it's what Apple did, for example. And they start with the vision. All right. Now, in Noble Goldman, if you look at the homepage, we started with the what and the how. So clearly that's not a good idea. So I've been sitting here writing mind maps all morning, and sort of flow chart things with a pencil, I might add, because I'm not the most techie. But anyway, so we're going to have a new homepage that's going to reflect the why. So it's immediately obvious why people are here. And then we develop an understanding of how and what after we've decided that the why is in alignment with our why. I think that's the bigger picture. So I just wanted to, I don't want to steal your thunder there, Matthew, but that's what I'm trying to communicate. And that's what we're attempting to get across to people with the website. But of course, it's always evolving, right? And you can be part of that evolution, because you might say, hey, I've got an idea. What if you do this, 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 and this? And we're like, wow, that's awesome. Next, like 3 weeks later, it's on the front page of the website. Everybody sees it because you're awesome. Right? So you could already have the answer that we're looking for. I don't know. And that's why masterminding is powerful. Because anybody on day one can have that thing or that little nuance that you're like, oh, why did I think of that? And that's beautiful, I think. So, Matthew, please just share what your feedback was from what I wrote, or questions, please.
Geez, I really want to follow that. At first, when you had written the question in the messaging I had written, I was born, I died, then I came back. So I decided I was going to live this life and have a loving experience. But then as you were talking here, I was refining it kind of. I had heart surgery as a kid, so that's where the dying comes into play. I was gone for like 10 or 15 minutes or something like that, and they brought me back. And I was only 3 weeks old when they had to go in. They were trying to wait till I was 6 months old for my surgery, and I went into cardiac failure. So I died. I came back and I decided after a while that I was going to be here to live. Granted, my early years weren't so pleasant, but they were pleasant and they weren't pleasant. I moved around a lot. So I learned how to become kind of like a chameleon almost, and I could blend into anything, which is super cool nowadays. I can go to anywhere, anytime, and pretty much blend in with anybody. So that's fun. I like that skill. And then as a teen, I was really troubled. I made some really bad choices when I was a teen, when I was very young. And so I continued that trend into my first marriage that I had, which shortly thereafter became a divorce. So I had to learn how to grow through that. And that's when I really started getting into personal development, when I was about 26-ish or so. And that's when everything started to flip. Now I'm married, I have kids, I have a house, everything is beautiful in life. And that's also when I decided to become that life coach that I am today, the wellness life coach, because I believe everybody needs to be in love with this life experience. And I think it's so important that when you love this experience, everything begins working in your favor. That's my story.
Wow, this is awesome. This is all very unexpected. I'm loving this. So, Richard, you're up next, I think.
So for me, I honestly believe everybody have a story, and some people choose to tell, others don't. Before I was 13, I had like about 4 or 5 near-death experience, almost drowned 3 times, struck down by a vehicle. And at a very early age, I thought, you know what, if none of those things didn't kill me, then I'm actually here for a reason. And by the time I was 14, I was a part of 6 youths who co-founded an NGO. At the time, we just said, look, we're going to start a youth organization to make a difference for youth within our community. Had no idea what it was going to look like. 5 years down the line, it was one of the largest non-governmental employer within that community, being funded by international donors such as USAID. So I worked there for about 13 years. Like Vicky, that would have been in excess of 15 years in social work. And after I would have left, I went to work with a colleague of mine in a business field because I wanted to try something different. So he had what he called his high performance business organization focused in coaching and training. And because I've been training and mentoring people for about over 15 years, then why not? And it was the day we had a conversation when he said, Richard, you're only worth so much to this business and I'm not going to pay you more. I actually decided, well, look, I'm not going to allow anybody to determine what my value is. And a year later, I registered my business. So today I am speaker, trainer, coach of my own business. And because I am from that community of helping others, I find that I spend most of my time doing charity against actually business, because people are going to come to me with a sad story and I just help them rather than focus on getting a paycheck at the end of providing a service. So it all comes back to where you're from and the impact you really want to leave when you're gone. And having the opportunity to save the couple of lives along the way even make it all the better. Because though I almost died 4 times before I was 14, by the time I was 25, I would have saved about five person, 2 from drowning, 1 from suicide. So I even had the opportunity to repay still being alive. So, and I'm still here. So the rest is yet to be told.
Wowzers. All right, so Sinead.
Yep. Oh, fantastic stories. Amazing. Yeah, I suppose I nearly drowned as well a couple of times as well, forgetting about that. And I remember driving the car, going down to study nutrition, went off the road, was driving my car like a dodgem in a fairground, and was like, drove off the road and just was fine. The car just jumped into the field, drove around, back off, down to college for the full day, and realized hours later I crashed the car. But I suppose I've always worked through so much stress. But I put that on myself as well too. So that's a lot of pressure. And I would see other people's stories. Like I listened to Daniel Priestley. He came to Limerick, like 10 minutes from where I worked, and I paid to go and see him. And I told my friend, you need to listen to Daniel Priestley. You need to become a key person of influence. And she won a free ticket to go to see him. And I've been constantly learning more courses, doing more, getting more information. And I just wouldn't have the confidence in myself to sort of say I need to be able to help. I will feel, I've studied GAPS, which is gut and psychology, is to help children with autism. Dr. Natasha's healed kids with autism. And I'm going, well, I'm not here at home to feed my kids, so I'm not going to work on that. Here's my, instead of doing that, I did a squiggle of who's connected to things. Whereas it's not a timeline, I suppose, it's how everything is interacted. What have I done to be able to go with things? And where is that going to take me? And I suppose the are all interconnected things come back. And I suppose I do want to be a teacher, do want to help people. I suppose I need to get that information that's in my head out to people. But unless I value myself and that information, it's not going to make a difference. Again, it's changing the goals to be away from the family. But if the family don't want to move forward, if their goals are to spend their day on their gadgets, I don't know. I think it's distractions, but allowing those distractions to be the focus of my life it's not my life. I'm not here in this world for that, to feel sorry for myself. And I suppose that's what I'm doing, going for me. And that is, again, where would I have got that? I suppose going back from timelines, I'm not sure. Again, I suppose I spoke last week about confidence, and I would have had that confidence, and it's up and down. And I suppose it's just getting that chinks in the armor out, and to realize, look, I'm protected. What I say is important. I know it. It needs to get out there, and to have that motivation to do that again too is important. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Sinead. One of the interesting ones that Declan talks about is the story of the Buddha, or a Buddha. So there was this town in Asia somewhere, and they were being invaded, I think, by the Chinese at the time. And the invading army was coming in. So the monks decided, okay, let's go. They had this big giant gold Buddha, and they decided to cover it with mud so that it wouldn't be stolen. They were all murdered, so nobody ever found out about it until much, much later. And then later they came back to repopulate that part of the land, which was all being derelict. And the sun glints off the statue, and it had cracked at this point. And underneath they realized it was made out of solid gold. So, these cracks that we get on the outside are cracks that allow the light in to show what we really are. They're not necessarily crack on something that's imperfect. Do you understand what I mean? So we view ourselves sometimes as if we crack that we're now broken. But actually the cracks are important to take the caked silliness off and actually reveal the wonderfulness which is underneath. Thanks, Matthew. I sometimes wish it was my story almost, but it ain't. So anyway, Naomi, you're up next.
I don't even know where to start on this. So do you want us to comment on what we got from what you read, or
either
talk about our timeline?
Because I wasn't really specific, because I was curious as to what yourselves would come up with on, like, without direction to a certain extent.
Yeah, I just felt that I'd kind of need to read that a few times because there was a lot in it, just to get a clear idea on what you wanted. But I was just thinking while you were reading it that, like, I was starting like person of influence. I was starting to become a person of influence in my previous career. Like I was doing a lot, like I've been involved in academia for a long time and in the heritage world and conservation. And like I was, writing publications. I was involved in UNESCO, like working in a lot of really like government departments and things like that, getting ahead. But then like I just had a lot of negative experiences. I don't know if it was just a lack of confidence or what it was, but it's just a really lonely industry working in academia, and there was a lot of backbiting and kind of people climbing on top of each other just to get somewhere. And like I've always had poor boundaries in my life as well, so that probably didn't help. So, I had an episode of bullying and one really high level guy, and it was just kind of glossed over because he was so important. And I just kind of fell out of love with that whole industry. And sorry, I keep saying And then when I found network marketing, I really fell in love with the whole family feeling that I got from it, the whole kind of sense of community, the collaboration. And I felt that that's something that I really wanted to do. But there was so much going on in my life as well, like having kids and just so many distractions that I still haven't felt that I found my niche. Yeah, so the last 10 years, maybe so, I've been involved doing a lot of self-development and reading, like opening to myself and become very spiritual. So I'm doing Reiki, things like that. So maybe I want to continue in that vein. Yeah, I'm just not really sure, like that whole person of influence thing. It just kind of, I need to read a bit more about it, figure out what I want to do with my life. I think that's like a constant question for me. Yeah, so that's where I'm at.
Thanks so much. And I think we can all relate to different parts of that. That's for sure. So for me then, an interesting childhood. I'm the youngest of four, and my father was a self-made man, and my mother had to do everything and raise kids and do the accounts and all sorts. They were two very busy humans, let's say. Not entirely happy about the work they had to do sometimes, but they were doing it anyway. So they come from the mindset of hard work will cure all ills, which I'm not convinced of, but that was a sort of impression and story that was told to me. Also, as my sister said, shit rolls downhill. So when, I don't know what it's like where you guys are from, but everyone in my house is an alpha person, like all six. So it was a very intense experience growing up. And of course, I was smaller than everyone else. So my thing when I was a kid, I was pretty good in school. Well, no, let me be maybe more specific. I was quite academic, but maybe not so well behaved, let's say. So like when I was 5, I had this thing I could spell encyclopedia and all this sort of crack. So that, like, I had a little dance and everything. It was very cute, apparently. And then, but as I got into secondary school, because I was younger than everyone else, I thought I had something to prove. And so I made some very poor choices when it came to the people I surrounded myself with, the activities that I would get involved in. Just generally that theme of not having any respect for authority on any level for any reason continued into my private life. And that didn't go too well. On the back end of it, though, I was very sensitive and spiritual as a 13, 14, 15-year-old. But I witnessed so much suicide from friends of mine, like 14 in 10 years. And it was pretty horrifying. So on top of a variety of other ups and downs, I ended up leaving Ireland, traveling off into Asia for a while to get my head together. And ended up in Spain, and then 2008 happened. So I had a degree in anthropology as well, right? I picked up along the way. So I didn't know how to do anything. I had no skills. I was just like, oh, well done, you know stuff. Well done. What's that going to do for you when you come back to a jobs market that's contracted, right? So on the basis of that, I ended up getting a job doing door-to-door sales. where I was not confident enough to look someone in the eye and speak, even to say hello or my name. So when people kind of assume that the person they're speaking to right now is the person that went to that first door, well, it's just not the case. It's difficult to see the connection sometimes. So anyway, eventually I got the hang of it. Some could argue quite quickly, at least from those people around me, and ended up running a couple of different companies, starting a few of my own. And over the next couple of years, ran companies for other people, and never really thought that I could be the one to be the owner. I always thought that I needed to be an important part of a team, and that I couldn't stand front and center on my own volition, because I didn't feel like I had the skill set required or the discipline required to achieve what I thought I needed to achieve based on the amount of work I saw my parents do running a business. I thought it was terrifying to me. So anyway, throughout the course of it, I bumped into network marketing against my will. Someone could argue, or certainly by mistake. And the process of that introduced me to building relationships rather than selling things, because I'd done a lot of sales jobs because that was the only thing that I knew how to do. And so subsequently, I realized that by building relationships, people would just ask me for stuff that they wanted or needed. And then I could just go, yeah, sure, no problem. And then there's a quote unquote sale, but it's not a transactional relationship, you know? And so when NG came along, immediately I went, okay, I get it. So this is a great place for me to build relationships, and people, wherever the touch points are going to say, hey, Lloyd, listen, I've got this challenge, because we speak all the time. Do you know where I could solve that challenge? Oh, funny enough, I do. If you're open, I can show you how. Or here, you go here and click that, and that'll do this, that, and the other, and that type of thing. So now there's a catalog where I can serve people while focusing on these types of relationships. So for me, all that kind of tied in very nicely. I knew there's definitely some very dark, deep lows, or lows, I should say, and some very highs, throughout the course of it. But now I think that story of who I am, and in relation even with me and Christo, the fun guy story, it actually really, really works with what we're looking to achieve. And I've identified how that can work for me from a KPI perspective. That being said, there's plenty more to do. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. Now, I want to just very briefly, I appreciate, well, we're 5 minutes. Awesome. That's unexpected. Okay, that's good. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Okay, that's the music we were listening to earlier. What's we got here? Oh, here we go. Okay, so can everyone see the screen, number one? Yeah, okay. So we've got a, that's not what I'm looking for, this one. Okay, so we got a 30-day, we've changed it to a quest, because apparently challenges are challenging, and not everybody likes that. So quests are fun. We changed it to quest. I got to do all that today, right? So we've got the instructions. We got an accountability agreement, which I would suggest you print, put on the fridge or somewhere where you're likely to see it, and it'll remind you all the time that you're supposed to be keeping to whatever it is that you've decided to do. We've got a desire worksheet, which I'll show you below. There's 30 videos, okay, one for each day. People just press play, and that includes you or anyone that you tell about it. They'll have the same structure. And then we got 5 masterminds. One is the welcome one and setting the scene, and then 4 masterminds, of which there will be a video to play at the beginning of each, and a set of questions which are on cards or slides that the person running the mastermind just needs to share. We just have an engaging conversation like we did today, right? So there's week 1, it's focused on the success habits and behaviors. Week 2 is focused on the hero's journey as it relates to Outwitting the Devil, which is a book by Napoleon Hill. And it's actually what we really do in this mastermind, by the way, is focus on self-mastery, learning from adversity together, controlling our environment, learning how to compound and leverage time, working in harmony which is when we're in the flow, which is what today certainly felt like for me. And then also learning from others, because we have blind sides that we can't see. Okay. We're going to have 1 week talking about how financial freedom actually works, and all that. And then an introduction to human consciousness, energy, and emotional intelligence, which I think is really important for people for us all to understand and be aware of. Okay. So what does that look like exactly? Let's see. So we got an intro, blah, 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 where to begin, everyone. So it's all explained and exactly what we're going to be doing here. So here's the accountability agreement. Okay. Then we've also got a section for your life purpose. This is already on the website, by the way. Parts of the current website already have this in it, and for you guys already, but it's going to be as part of this as well. I'll just show you what one page looks like. One of the important things is there's an area where we're going to talk about the mental state that you're in. So you've probably heard me or Mark or someone else talking about those 7 levels of consciousness. 1, feeling lazy. 2, I'm angry and defiant. 3, I'm taking responsibility. 4, I just want to help everybody. I come last. 5, win-win or we don't play. 6, now we can create moments of joy, insight. And 7, no judgment, passion, creativity. Okay, so wouldn't it be awesome if we were having level 7 days every day? So here's what it's going to look like. We have some time for gratitude, visualization, affirmation. You're probably already doing all of that. Positive Prime is a tool to track those things. It's in the MSI section, and you can check that out. Meditation and prayer, because some people pray and think meditation is not allowed, let's say. So we don't want to have half the world not want to participate. So sometimes it's good to have both there. Diet, study, exercise, sleep, mental state, and logging time in the abundance game. Okay, so it's super simple, but it's just bringing people through a process where at the end of 30 days, they're now at the point where they will very likely want to engage in what we're doing. And if not, you just met a wonderful person, you help them in some way. Okay, so what does that look like exactly? You can go to, let's see, I have to log back in. No, okay, so you go to the home page, you go down here and it's under Quest. Okay, click on Quest. Now obviously I've already purchased this, so it's only $30. So it immediately brings me to the resources page. But for you guys, it'll come to the introduction page, and then it has all the information about it here, and all of the various bits and pieces, and then the mastermind topics. Okay, we've done all the work for you, and everyone coming in here has the information they need, and the questions that they have. We'll have a Q&A questionnaire, which will answer any questions, and they can come on and hear about it from Mark Santos on a Monday or Wednesday. Okay. We're going to start the first one on the 1st of December, and it's a pre-launch for the 1st of January, where everybody and anyone's going to want to start 2021 with a, okay, I have to go to another mastermind. Oh yeah, sorry guys, I'll see you in a bit, thanks. And here we go. So it's just a video for each day. Okay, you got the 30-day quest, you got an accountability group, and every day has a little video. So I just click complete and go to the next video. Day 4, day 5. I think it's going to be really, really nice. And I think what's important as well, guys, is that you can establish, if you don't already have it, a lovely structure over a 30-day period that will see you into 2021 feeling really, really comfortable and confident that the things that you know you should be doing, you are actually doing. And you're tracking them using the abundance scoreboard. And now when you show people the abundance scoreboard, there's actually something on it, number one. So you don't feel like, oh, why am I showing something I've never filled in? And also you start to see your own progress. And you start to see how your invested time reflects on you. as well. Okay. The other side of it is that if you want to introduce it to other people for when it starts in January, you've got 30 days to gain clarity on what it is, how it works, and you can give feedback for the things that either resonated or didn't with you, so that when we go in January, you're fully confident in the process enough to share it with other people. And if you do so, there's a nice referral program built into the back of it, which is pretty cool as well. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about it? And you're all muted, by the way. Oh.
No questions. For me, because of work right now, I wouldn't be able to start the 1st December. Because remember, for the next week or so, I'll be probably out of the internet again, being in the internet. So 1st of January is it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Just so everybody knows, it's a one-time payment, so it's not a monthly thing. And you can start it whenever you want. We just happen to be starting as a group in terms of the Facebook accountability group on the 1st. So if you did want to catch up, you can. That's also fine. But there's no pressure either way. I would suggest, though, unless you're actually like Richard going to be completely off internet, that you start on the 1st of December, because when January comes around, then you've already completed it, and you'll have an understanding of it. The other thing is then for you, Sinead, in order to put together something that contributes to the value that you have to contribute in the world, in a way where you don't feel like you're under pressure, or you have to put yourself out there in the maybe the public world, and maybe that causes an element of stress and anxiety, we are encouraging everybody who has a skill set that they would like to communicate to follow the structure of the 30-day program and create a 30-day program of their own. And what we're looking to do is to help you to do that. Okay, the reason being is we're going to offer these 30-day programs as an option for somebody who joins. So they see the why and they go, hey, here's a great program to get you started, which is the one I just showed you. But then after that, where do you want to go? What's your interest? So kind of like those books where you get to a certain page and it says, if you turn left, turn to page 26. If you want to turn right, turn to page 72. So kind of like that, which is a fun, the whole quest idea. Oh, Bob, look at your face. Look at you. Look mashed up your face, Bob.
Here's your lunch.
Oh, thank you.
Hello.
Hey, look. Mwah. Yeah. You're going to eat my lunch if you get put on the floor, aren't you?
Okay, go back to work.
Okay.
Bye-bye, everybody. Say bye-bye, Dannon. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hello. Hello.
Hilarious. Okay.
He's gorgeous.
Yeah, she's a beauty. She's a cutie. So here's the thing then. If that's the case, then somebody can come in and say, you know what? Like I'm going to do one on team building, for example, and leadership. Somebody go, I don't want to build teams and I don't want to become a leader, but I do want to learn about loss and grief because that's challenging me right now. And so that will be something that will work with what Vicky is putting together at the moment. Okay. If it's a case of, I don't know, somebody wants to do an introduction to energy healing or something, somebody or a number of people get together to put together that program, maybe like a week each, then that becomes a program that's $30. And it's not supposed to be a big price. It's supposed to be that we can deliver it to a massive audience and use that as a mechanism to serve more people. But then also some of those people are going to want to participate once they start logging in the abundance game the whole way through that 30 days. They're like, yeah, of course, this makes sense to me. So it takes a lot of the pressure off you guys in the relation to the quote unquote building a team to just share the wonderful value that all of us have in specialized knowledge on mass. And what we'll do then is, we'll say for those people that are doing cash flow, which is $100 a month, they can get any and all of those programs. And so that encourages people to go through to the cash flow program, which is a recurring subscription. So it's kind of like Netflix for entrepreneurs and any other type of information people want, right? And it becomes like that. Okay, so imagine if every time somebody went onto Netflix and watched a show, you got paid. That'd be all right. There's a lot of people looking at Netflix right now, right? So that's what we're sort of aiming to do with that. So I would encourage you to go to the back office and subscribe to it. I also paid for it, even though I made half of it. So, and I'm also going to pay for the one that I make all on myself, because that's part of the whole point. Once you're subscribed to it, you can recommend it to others. So I think it's going to be a game changer. So we're in interesting times, and we're just coming up on the beginning of a new year. And so this is our chance to kind of get the chinks out from this first one, and then look at what else we want to introduce then as time goes on. So if you got something you want to bring to the table, then let me know, and we can show you how. Okay. So what is the call to action, I hear you saying? So I'm going to put those questions that I put in here, and I would like you to spend some time this week to actually look at where are the highs and lows. What does the timeline of your life look like? Okay. Now, rather than writing notes there, I'm actually going to send you the question so you can actually address them. What I might also do is take a photo of each page, because it's quicker, and just send them out as well. Okay, so you can, that exactly what I read through, you can read back over it just to kind of put it clear in your mind. Okay. I'm not going to put anyone on the spot next week to like, hey, where's your homework? But like, it's for you. So I would suggest that you do the work and then recommend or step forward to say, hey, I'd like to share what I did in the last week. Okay, if you like. You don't have to, but you can if you want. All right. Okay, guys, thank you very much. One love. Don't forget to put your 3 takeaways in the chat. Hey, let's get a quick screenshot actually before everyone runs away. All right, now favorite smiley face, everybody, please. Thank you. Hey, love it. Love it. Okay, guys, see you later. Bye bye.
Thanks, Lloyd.
Thank you. Bye.